Monday morning. Back to work for most in Chicago. But there were some who had to work this weekend.
Hornets for the slam.
And work.
And Tony with the slam.
And work.
Drives inside. Tony with the slam over Robinson. Over the Emerald.
And work.
B.J. open three.
Yeah!
You bet! Big time three!
After locking horns with the Knicks and the Spurs on Friday and Saturday and winning both games, the Bulls are ready for a holiday. But first, they have their own Monday morning to deal with. All next on the Bullseye.
Bullseye. Bullseye is brought to you by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Nick Golden, smooth over everything. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Nissan dealers. And ITZ Athletic Footwear. Be your own hero.
Tonight at Chicago Stadium, the Bulls try to close out a spectacular trifecta when they host their Central Division rival, the Charlotte Hornets. Good evening from the West Side and happy holidays, everybody. Dan Roan, nice to have you with us for the Bullseye here on WGN. The game between the Bulls and Hornets is dead ahead. Well, tonight, Phil Jackson's crew tries to stretch that winning streak to 6 games, but more impressively, they try to get 3 victories in the space of 4 days over the Knicks, the Spurs, and tonight over Charlotte. They've already dealt with the Knicks and Spurs back-to-back victories on Friday night and Saturday night, and tonight against the Hornets, they're going to be just a little bit short-handed. A sidebar to the Spurs game Saturday. The full-court battle between Stacey King and Dennis Rodman. It ended in the headbutt and the shove, and then the ejection of both players. And today, the NBA scored that fight. Both King and Rodman were suspended for 1 game. Stacey will miss tonight. Rodman misses the Houston game tomorrow. Each player was fined, Rodman the bigger number, because he also trashed a computer terminal on the way off the floor. Some comic relief from the demolition man. But tonight, it's the Charlotte Hornets, one of the teams that was expected to be a major contender for the dominance in the Eastern Conference that the Bulls were supposed to give up this year. But so far, neither one of those suppositions has come true, which is great for the Bulls, but not so good for the Hornets. The new season hasn't been a disaster by any means for Charlotte. The men of teal are sitting tight in 3rd place in the Central, 4.5 games back, waiting for Atlanta to fall back to earth. But there are ominous signs for this club, and they're swirling around its highest paid, highest profile player. Larry Johnson has a bad back, a dangerous condition in basketball, the one that drove Larry Bird off the court and may do the same to Charles Barkley. It's a disc problem. And why shouldn't Johnson's back hurt with the baggage he carries around every night? He's the NBA marketing focus, the go-to guy on his club, and the highest paid player in the game. Johnson's $84 million deal makes him a marked man in every game, and all the pressure has hurt him physically and mentally. His numbers are way off, and the Hornets need LJ at 100% to make a serious run in the playoffs. At center, there is no trouble in Charlotte. Alonzo Mourning's continued improvement makes the Hornets tough to beat under any circumstances. He's strong inside with a nice touch and an ill temper, just what you need to succeed on the post in the NBA. Charlotte also features shooting guard Del Curry and their point man Muggsy Bogues, tiniest player in the league and one of the quickest. For all their weapons, though, the Hornets will have their hands full tonight against the red-hot Bulls.
Scottie wants it inside. Dunks with a left hand over Ewing.
Giant step by Scottie to the hoop.
Friday night's win against the Knicks might have satisfied most people in its own right, but put together with the Spurs game the following night, this was the best basketball weekend in Chicago since June. Horace Grant was one of many heroes Friday with 16 points and 13 rebounds against that Ewing-Oakley-Mason group. Then in the San Antonio game, Steve Kerr hit 4 out of 5 3-pointers, and Stacey King duked it out with stadium villain Dennis Rodman. For this crowd, it doesn't get any better than that, with or without Michael Jordan. Well, Johnny Kerr, it's true that everybody loved Stacey giving Rodman the shove, but I don't know if the suspension that Stacey got today was warranted. I don't think there's any question that Rodman started that fight, but they're both going to have to pay the price.
Both be suspended for a game. Rodman's fine, as you noticed, Dan, was a little bit bigger than Stacey's fine. I had a chance to talk to Jerry Krause just a minute ago, and I said I thought it really wasn't a very good deal for Stacey. He said he talked to Rod Thorne, and anytime you strike or push a player above the neck, that's where you get the suspension of the foul. So I guess if he had like punched him in the stomach or something, or kicked him in the knee, it'd have been all right. But here's one of the things that he destroyed. This is the paddle. This holds the paddles down here on the bench, and we see it's the Rodman commemorative now for the stat crew.
That's a nice holiday piece of work. I'm sure you could get an 800 number and sell some of those things.
You know, Dan, the thing is, though, they're certainly going to miss Stacey. You know, Will Perdue has been out, and they've been trying to nurse Bill Cartwright's sore knees. Now, he'll come back and play today, but if his knees hurt him or he gets in a little foul trouble, that's going to put a big load, defensive load on Bill Winnington, who has really played superbly for the Bulls.
Well, he really has, and through all this great basketball the Bulls have been playing, John, they've been doing it against some really great big people. Patrick Ewing and David Robinson over the weekend. Of course, tonight they get another one in Mourning.
Yeah, Alonzo Mourning, one of the good young centers. He'll take the ball on the outside and shoot. He likes to go down low. He likes to drive to the hoop. He'll take a few steps on his way to the hoop, but he normally gets away with it. The last guy I saw, big guy, get away with steps in this league was Wilt Chamberlain. Chamberlain used to do it, but you know, it was really funny when I played with Wilt my last year or so. I thought, you know, the closer I look, he doesn't walk that much. Depends on who's on your team.
I guess it does. So the Bulls will be shorthanded at center tonight. What about Charlotte, John, and Larry Johnson? We touched on his back problems, and we did see that his numbers are somewhat down from what they were a year ago.
Well, boy, his numbers have not been real good, and I don't know if it's playing at home or playing on the road, Dan. I think his back really has been bothering him, maybe more than he wants to let known. When you sign a contract for what, 80-some $1 million, you don't want to tell people your back is hurting.
No, you really don't. I know he's a tough guy. He wants to play, but boy, you can tell that it's bothering him. Certainly bothering his coach, too. I know the owner down there, George Shinn, is not a real patient man, and there's been some talk that Alan Bristow, the coach, might not be around for too much longer.
Well, that could be a case. There's going to be some coaches that will not be around, probably around the middle of January, and he got one that I think a lot of guys are sitting in the wings waiting for that job and maybe waiting for him to go sour a little bit.
Okay, Johnny, we'll talk to you a bit later on. Have a good game tonight.
Okay, Dano.
John Kerr down at courtside, and we'll return with more on the Bullseye right after this.
She dreamed of touching the stars.
Action!
And touch the hearts of millions.
It's what's inside her, what shines out of her. There's something you don't see in the world often.
He showed the world that dreams can come true.
Tomorrow's the big day.
Not as big as now.
If you believe in miracles.
Something strange and wonderful has happened.
Frank Sinatra, Fred McMurray, ring in the holiday with the color presentation of The Miracle of the Bells. Wednesday night at 7 on WGN Channel 9.
Some days the gang's all here, week after week or once a year. There's a gazillion different ways.
Consecutive sellout crowd here at Chicago Stadium. In the NBA news tonight, Karl Malone of the Jazz is the NBA Player of the Week. The Jazz won 4 straight last week, and Karl averaged 26 points and 11 rebounds in those 4 games. The Jazz 17-7 now, their best start ever. Horace Grant was the runner-up for that honor this week in the NBA. Also, Bobby Hurley was moved out of intensive care this weekend. He is now eating a normal diet and has been upgraded from serious to fair. So that's great news for the Sacramento Kings and the family of Bobby Hurley. Well, Dallas plays the Knicks tonight. The Mavs 2 defeats away from tying the record for longest one-season losing streak. They're 1-21. Houston, meantime, is 21-1. 2 victories away from 23-1, which would tie for the best getaway ever. And then you have the middle-of-the-pack teams like the Cavs and Lakers who played last night. Hot Rod Williams and Mark Price put on a shooting show for Cleveland. Between these two, they shot 17 of 21 from the floor and combined for 41 points. They also got some help from Gerald Wilkins, and as a team, the Cavaliers filled it up at a better than 60% clip their best of the season. They won it by 30 over the Lakers, who at 8-16 are off to their worst start since 1966. Also last night, Orlando beat Sacramento 97-91. The Kings' 8th consecutive home loss ties an NBA record set in 1971-72 by the Cincinnati Royals. As we look at the standings in the Central, we find out that even despite the win, Cleveland is still down there in 6th place. Atlanta red hot, the Bulls in 2nd, Charlotte is 3rd, and only 3 teams above 500 in the Central. In the Atlantic, it's the Knicks by 3 over Charlotte. You look down the line, or Orlando, I should say, and you look down the line there, you find there's not a whole lot of power in the Eastern Conference, at least not yet this year, but there's sure a lot in the West. Portland hosting Milwaukee last night. They dig it away, the Blazers on the break. Terry Porter scores. Mike Dunleavy's team is down early, and he's hot, but he couldn't do much about it. The lead just kept on growing as Clyde Drexler got inside. Remember this play, you may not see it again for a while. The Bucks did make a run just before the half. Todd Day took it home, but Portland was up 11 at halftime, and we'll show you the bad news for the Blazers. Drexler on his way in. He slipped, and he turned over his ankle. Clyde had to be helped off the floor. They think he'll miss 2 to 3 weeks of the season. Fortunately for the Blazers, they didn't need him last night, but I'm sure they will before this time is up. Terry Porter wrapped it up with a 3-pointer. Portland wins this by 12, 93-81. And the victory keeps the Blazers in 3rd place in their division behind Seattle and Portland, with Golden State in 4th place. And in the Midwest, Houston is rolling on 21-1, as we said earlier, 5 ahead of Utah and 7 games up on the Spurs. And as we enter the height of the holiday season, we remember that Christmas means different things to different people. For the Bulls, this holiday takes on many different dimensions. It began last week with a few talented children, the winners of an essay contest. They earned a trip from Cabrini Green to the Berto Center to see the world champs. They got lunch, goodie bags, and even some autographs.
Hey, Hornets, I'll be right back. I gotta get my car signed. Where's my coat?
Thankfully, somebody had the time to talk.
Just to see these kids come here and share the experience and the smiles that they give them and the pleasure. This is all one can ask for, and so I'm just very happy about this and excited. And this is all I really ask for the excitement and happiness for all these kids to have a very Merry Christmas.
As part of the Bulls organization, to give the players the opportunity to come out and spend this time with them, I think this probably means more than a Christmas to some of these kids.
A lot of these people don't get a chance to go to the basketball games and see the Bulls, but to come and see you face-up, close-up version of the Bulls is a great thing, and I'm happy to be here.
I got 4 favorite players: BJ, Tony Kukoc, Johnny Paxson, and Scottie Pippen. It's better than being around the house doing nothing.
The players aren't the only ones busy around the holidays. Bill Jackson's wife, June, and the other wives and girlfriends have been hard at work with their new charity group.
Teammate is the motto of it, and it was hard to come up with. There's so many charitables and lovables and incredibles, and I don't know where the next bull is going to be. Well, when you start adding bulls to women, it doesn't sound quite right. So I thought maybe they should go as the cows, and
that was shot down quickly.
The incredible cows, but they didn't go with that.
The teammates sold Christmas ornaments at the stadium before this weekend's games. The proceeds going to charities in the West Side neighborhood. Back to the players.
So tell me what you want for Christmas, young man.
I want to see Barney.
You want to see Barney?
Yeah, I want to take pictures with Barney.
It's kind of a secret. I told my wife, but I don't think I'm going to get it.
Hey, Dan, look at my shirt. This is what I want right here. 4th World Championship.
First, health, and another championship.
That four-peat's pretty popular, but long before the Bulls try to grab that ring, they'll play the Magic on Christmas Day. And if there's anything to be thankful for, well, there's a consensus there, too.
If we had to travel, we'd be very unhappy. I think any team that has to be away from their family at Christmas, has to be feel like they're tapping into their private life, let alone their religious experience or the religious life.
I don't know what I'd do if there wasn't a Christmas Day game. That's all I've ever known. Even when Phil was a player, there were Christmas Day games, and fortunately, they were home.
My philosophy is at least they're at home. I feel sorry for the guys that have to come here.
The Bulls have been the Christmas Day attraction for the past 3 years.
It's a special holiday attraction. As of yet, we haven't lost one on a Christmas Day, so we're happy with that aspect. We're happy with being at home.
The Bulls spend the morning in their homes. But come tip-off time, the stadium will be filled with family and fans. Maybe even the big guy will find time to root for his favorite team. Go Bulls! Well, we know there'll be at least one big guy in the stadium Christmas Day. That'll be Shaquille O'Neal, the next in the long line of dominating centers the Bulls are playing in this 8-day stretch of their NBA schedule. We'll be back to Chicago Stadium with more on the Bullseye. Phil Jackson will join us when we continue.
Tonight on WGN News, the FBI steps up its search for a kidnapped baby. We'll tell you why they think an updated sketch may lead them to the kidnapper. Then, the Donald and Marla tie the knot, and you may not believe who did and didn't make the guest list. Right after the Bulls game tonight on WGN News.
College hoop, new season. Blue Demons. DePaul battles Texas Christian. Tuesday night.
Back at Chicago Stadium, the Charlotte Hornets taking the floor, and we're awaiting the arrival of the Bulls momentarily. These two teams getting ready to duke it out here tonight at the stadium. The print you see here is a photo montage by local artist Scott Mutter. Scott's highly praised work includes one that Cub fans might remember, the Wrigley Field flashlight poster from a few years ago. Now Mutter has turned his attention to the Bulls. This creation is entitled The Net. The look of a bull, I guess, with the horns, the rim, and the net dangling down there. And the Bulls have seen plenty of that net in their last 5 games, mostly the bottom of it, as they won every single one of those. I think they've pretty much surpassed everybody's expectations to this point, even their coaches. Here's Phil Jackson with Wayne Larrabee.
Well, thanks very much, Dan Rowan. Of course, great weekend for the Chicago Bulls. Phil Jackson, 2 wins against playoff pedigree type teams over the weekend, and you guys looked very sharp in doing it.
Well, you know, Wayne, the team was prepared for the games, and I think the momentum and the energy of the New York game carried them through the San Antonio game. Even though we were tired and beaten and worn a little bit, we had the energy, and basically the bench provided that.
You know what is really surprising a lot of people is how quickly your team seems to have come together, and you see it offensively in ball movement.
Well, that's particularly true of the New York Knicks. I think the 6 players or so that were here last year from the team understood you must draw the New York team in, pass the ball, get the shots, take the open shots, and hit them if you're really going to win against New York.
And we have an example of that in the New York game with the Bulls leading by 4. New York needed a defensive stand here, Phil.
Well, here's a corner series. The pass has gone to Scottie Pippen. You'll see that he dribbles out of the corner. There's a pick. He'll pass it to Pete Myers, who then fans it down to BJ, and then BJ finds Scottie Pippen in the middle of the lane for a dunk. And you'll see the Knicks will have to rotate. You see those drawings made there on a telestrator to indicate the passes. Here it comes. Scottie coming out of the corner off a screen roll. Mason tumbles. I guess it was Kerr that passes it on to Anderson. And then Ewing had to rotate too late to get to Pippen. He had the dunk over the top.
And defensively, you've got good rotation defensively from your people, and we get an example of that again in the New York game with Horace Grant helping out on Patrick Ewing.
Very true, Wayne, because you know, when Bill got his 4th foul, I had to go into Stacey King, and he had to provide the defense, and that meant we had to help a little bit more. You can see Horace is standing out here at the free throw lane. He's in isolation, and Oakley's out there. He has to be out there. The pick comes down, and the guard pops out, drops it into Ewing. Here comes Horace over to help on Stacey with Ewing, and he blocks the shot right to Steve Kerr, and that's the kind of play that really turned the game around for us.
Well, you're not going to have Stacey King here tonight.
That's a big minus, because this is a very active, very mobile type center without guys that have played him in the past, you know, Scott Williams and Will Perdue, and now Stacey King. It's going to be up to Bill Wennington to spell Bill Cartwright.
How much are you finding out about your team? The 2 games against those playoff teams over the weekend. Now you have Charlotte tonight, another playoff team.
Well, without a doubt, this team has more speed, more push, more drive in their offense than any of the teams do in the league that we've played up till this point. Perhaps Denver, Phoenix, one team we have played has that kind of energy, but this team with Muggsy Bogues behind the driver's seat really runs it at you. If our legs are worn, if we're a little weary, it'll be noticeable in the 4th quarter.
And really kind of to wrap it up, you're playing the big centers, 2 of them in the Eastern Conference, Ewing and Mourning tonight, of course, and then you play David Robinson from San Antonio. So that certainly has to be impressive with the way you've handled them thus far.
It will, Wayne, because you know, Bill's got to chase down Mourning because he runs out, sprints as a post sprinter through the lane. If he doesn't get the rebound, he runs down court. Bill's going to have a job catching him. Bill Wennington is going to have his hands full just stopping him on the blocks. So we'll have to have a very good defensive game tonight.
Well, all the best. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you. Phil Jackson, the head coach of the Bulls. Let's send it back up to Dan Rowan.
All right, Wayne, thank you very much. Phil Jackson also saying tonight that Will Perdue may come back active by this weekend, and if he does, they may put Bill Cartwright on the injured list. His knees are really bothering him. He's only been able to play on a spot basis in the last 3 or 4 games, and we'll see what happens with Bill perhaps as soon as this weekend. We'll come back and wrap things up from Chicago Stadium for the Bullseye right after this.
You want it. You need it. PFW. The stats, the games, the highlights. PFW. The insights, the opinions, the predictions. PFW. Dan Roan and Hub Arkish tell you what you need to know so you can tackle Sunday with a vengeance. Pro Football Weekly. Saturday morning at 9 on WGN Channel 9.
Some days the gang's all here, week after week or once a year. There's a gazillion different ways to have these get-together days.
A great day calls for a great beer. The Michelob beers, with its smooth, classic taste you don't find every day.
Michelob, some days, Michelob, some days, Michelob, some days are better than others.
My heroes, my dad, guys in the league. Now I'm in the league, and everyone's like, you've got some pretty big shoes to fill. I'm not filling anyone's shoes. I brought my own.
Introducing ITZ, a new basketball shoe for those who know that while players are made on the court, heroes are made in the zone.
We can be heroes just for one day.
Here it is, the new 94 Plymouth Voyager, our safest minivan ever. And now with Air and Automatic, amazingly affordable. As low as $242 a month. Plymouth Voyager, the #1 selling minivan in this town for 9 straight years. See your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer today.
Bulls making an appearance out on the stadium floor, warming up tonight, bringing a record of 13-8 into the game against the Charlotte Hornets, who come to Chicago with a record of 12-10. And right now, let's get you caught up on what else is happening around the NBA tonight. 3 games underway. Dallas continuing that slide toward futility. The Knicks leading them by 10 in the second. Philadelphia 14 over Detroit in the second. And Washington out to an early 4-point lead over Minnesota. 2 other games starting a bit later on tonight. Indiana at Phoenix, Milwaukee at the Clippers. Upcoming telecasts on WGN include Thursday night's game, a 6:30 Central tip at the Palace against the Detroit Pistons, and also after Christmas then a rematch with the Charlotte Hornets down in Charlotte, Thursday December 30th, again 6:30 tip right here on WGN. And we'll see the Charlotte Hornets live and in person tonight on WGN as they take on the Bulls here in Chicago. Chicago trying to make it 6 straight. That'll do it for the Bullseye. For our producer-director John Walgren, thanks for watching and enjoy the game coming up next on WGN.
Bullseye.
Bullseye was brought to you by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Nick Golden, smooth over everything. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Nissan dealers. And ITZ Athletic Footwear. Be your own hero. Guests on Bullseye receive a handsome and rugged Swiss Army watch from Henry K. Jewelers, 3rd level Water Tower Place.
Some beetles can emit light from their hindquarters. Humans, however, are not so blessed. Remind you of your block at Christmas time?
The newest entertainment sensation isn't a movie.
You're on in 5 minutes.
Or a hit play.
Beautiful. Long.
It's a game that thousands of people are playing and winning.
Odds be with you. And you. 40 times better to win. $200,000. That's true.
Play Little Lotto from the Illinois Lottery.
Say it wins. The odds be with you.
You can always spot a neighborhood with pride. Maybe it's a little cleaner, a little nicer place to be. All because somebody cared enough to make it that way. Like your neighborhood 76 station. Here, every gasoline is specially formulated to keep your engine clean and running smooth. We're rather proud of that. 76. Go with the spirit.
Where in the world would you go if there were no Las Vegas? For this, you'd have to go to Rome. For superstar entertainment, New York. World-class dining, halfway around the world. And you couldn't go anywhere for this. Only in Las Vegas.
The following is a WGN Sports presentation.
After beating Boston in last year's playoffs, the Charlotte Hornets were flying high. Word was buzzing around the league that Alonzo Mourning had more sting than Shaquille, and Larry Johnson was King B among power forwards, especially in contract negotiations. But all hasn't been sweet lately on Hive Drive. Expected to rank among the league's best this season, the Hornets have been inconsistent and find themselves looking up at a team they were supposed to have surpassed in the Central. In contrast, the Bulls have surprised everyone. This weekend's emotional sweep of the Knicks and Spurs may have convinced the experts. The Bulls are for real and too tough to be bothered by insects. Chicago Stadium, another sellout crowd settling in to watch their beloved Chicago Bulls take on the Charlotte Hornets. Hi, everybody. I'm Wayne Larrabee. The Chicago Bulls are red hot. They've won 5 in a row and 9 of their last 10. And Johnny Red Kerr, what a weekend it was against playoff caliber competition, New York and San Antonio.
Boy, New York and San Antonio, you'd think it was a stroll in Central Park and maybe along the Riverwalk taking in the Alamo. The Bulls really put it together and threw some defensive numbers at 2 very fine teams. Look at this. The Bulls shot 53%. They had 42.5 rebounds, and 100 points is what they averaged in those 2 games. And look at the other side of the ledger. Not even 30 rebounds, 42.5 field goal percentage, and 88 points. That's great against a defensive team. And the Bulls bench, superb. You couldn't ask for anything different. Look what the Bulls did off the bench. Average rebounds 17-7, points 32-16. Ah, yes, it's been a wonderful weekend so far, Wayne.
It sure was, and it could wrap up tonight against another premier-type playoff team in the Charlotte Hornets. But the Bulls will be without one key member of that bench. A member, by the way, I mentioned key because he did play a big role in those 2 wins over San Antonio, New York. That's Stacey King serving a suspension.
That's right. He's shooting the best he's shot in a long time. Double figures in the 2 games he started here. But you see, he was suspended and fined. They'll miss him. The core is thin. Bill Cartwright will start tonight, but with his bad knees, we look for Bill Wennington to get an awful lot of playing time.
And, of course, the Charlotte Hornets. This is a team that started out the season a house of fire. In their first 8 games, they average 117 points a game, 101 points a game in their last 14 games. They're making a lineup change tonight.
Well, they're going to make a change. They're going to put Eddie Johnson in, former Westinghouse player, University of Illinois. He's done an outstanding job. And, of course, the guy at the other forward, Larry Johnson, he's been 2 players this year, 21 points a game in the last 4 games, and before that, only 7 a game.
All right, we'll see which grandmama shows up tonight for the Charlotte Hornets. We'll be back with the starting lineups of the opening tip. Bulls basketball just ahead on WGN.
Chicago Bulls basketball is brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this? Your local Ford dealer. Quality people with quality products. Your local McDonald's restaurant, where what you want is what you get. That's McDonald's today. The people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. American Airlines, proud to be the official airline of the Chicago Bulls. Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Montgomery Ward, where things are really changing. And by the Illinois Lottery, dream a little dream with me.
How to cover Chicago.
WD shots. It's $25 to charitables when any Bulls player slam dunks during the game. McDonald's, now featuring the triple cheeseburger at participating restaurants.
Charlotte Hornets at 12-10. The Bulls 13-8. Time for the introduction to the starting lineups to the public address announcer, Ray Clay.
At forward from UNLV, 6'7", Larry Johnson. A 6'7" forward from Illinois, Eddie Johnson. At center, 6'10" from Georgetown, Alonzo Mourning. At one guard from Bradley, 6'3", Hersey Hawkins. At the other guard, 5'3", from Wake Forest, Tyrone Muggsy Bowes. The Charlotte Hornets are coached by Alan Bristow, assisted by Bill Hanslick, G.R. Dunn. The trainer, Terry Koffler.
Chicago Bulls! And forward, from Clemson, 6'10", Horace Grant. A 6'7" forward, from Central Arkansas, Scottie Pippen. The man in the middle, from San Francisco, 7'1", Bill Cartwright. And guard, 6'6", from Arkansas, Little Rock, Pete Myers. A 6'2" guard, from Iowa, B.J. Armstrong. The head coach of the Bulls is Bill Jackson. He's assisted by Tex Winter.
Bill Jackson at 253, 96, 72.5 winning percentage as the head man on the bench for the Chicago Bulls. Scottie Pippen in the forefront of that picture right there, and the Bulls, since Scottie's return, 9-1. Bulls have dominated this series over the expansionists from Charlotte and have won 9 of 10 here at home. There's a look at one of the officials. David Jones, Lee Jones, Bennett Salvador. That's Lee Jones in the picture right there. Another sellout crowd here tonight. This is the 303rd consecutive basketball sellout of Chicago Stadium. And Bill Cartwright gets the call for the Bulls in the middle tonight against Alonzo Mourning. And again, as we mentioned at the open of the program, Stacey King will not be here tonight, suspended for one game for that altercation with Dennis Rodman that occurred Saturday night in the game against San Antonio. Rodman will be serving his suspension tomorrow night when the Spurs play again. Charlotte has struggled on the road this season. Last year they had a pretty good season on the road, Red. Matter of fact, they had a winning record on the road.
Yeah, they've slowed down here. A little chemistry. Tough to figure out. Some new players. Kendall Gill not here. Hersey Hawkins is. Johnny Newman not here.
And they'll try to get things on track with the insertion of Eddie Johnson into the lineup. The opening tip, and we're underway. Muggsy Bogues sets it up for Charlotte. Larry Johnson had 10 points the other night against Denver. This is Hawkins. Motion offense for Charlotte. 10 to go on the shot clock. Larry Johnson against Horace Grant. Hawkins loses Pippen. Horace the rebound. Charlotte, despite the presence of Alonzo Mourning, not a great rebounding team. Scottie. Muggsy Bogues on the push. Gets it back. Try to hit Mourning, but Hawkins picks up. Hersey Hawkins out of Westinghouse High School. Both he and Eddie Johnson attended Westinghouse High School.
Well, we had Carver here. We had, well, we didn't have Doc Rivers here, but represented well the high schools here in this area.
No question. Great high school ball played in Chicago. Bulls and Hornets tied up in the early going. 5 to go on the shot clock for BJ. Scottie Pippen. Offensive rebounding read a big key to the weekend victories. Bulls averaged 14.5 offensive rebounds in the 2 games against New York and San Antonio. Larry Johnson ties the game here, but the Bulls look to do a big job against Charlotte here on the offensive glass tonight. Matter of fact, they held a slight 12-10 edge in the first meeting of the season between these two teams opening night down in Charlotte. Myers.
Pete's had some big quarters here at the Chicago Stadium, and he's played very, very well early games.
Double figures.
Early in the game. Yes.
10 of the 19 games for Pete Myers. This will belong to Charlotte. You're right. He had a big second quarter in that San Antonio game. Eddie Johnson off the mark. Cartwright the rebound. Pete Myers.
Oh, Pete couldn't make it, but he put the pressure on. They got a mismatch on the guarding. Eddie Johnson's been guarding Pete Myers, and Hawkins guarding Scottie Pippen, and getting back to the man. That's a tough thing, and the Bulls like to push it, and they have been doing it really, really well. So Eddie picks up his first foul. Pete Myers, one of the guys that was excused early in free throw practice from the Bulls' last practice. He, Steve Kerr, and B.J. Armstrong.
Well, Pete
when you shoot free throws pretty good, Phil says, okay, get yours done and go home. We know you guys will be ready game time. You other guys got to stick around.
And they did. Pete makes good on a pair. Pete Myers with 4 points. And the Bulls have doubled up the Hornets here. Bogues pushing into the lane. Muggsy at 5'3" and a 6th year out of Wake Forest. Bulls right back. Scottie Pippen. Myers off the screen by Cartwright. Larry Johnson the rebound. Been bothered by a back problem all season long. Hersey Hawkins. Eddie Johnson poked away nicely by Myers. 10 to go on the shot clock for Bogues. Larry Johnson.
Stay out there, Larry. I like it.
You would prefer Larry Johnson to shoot about 15 of those, because you know he's not going to make enough of them to beat you from out there.
Yep.
Horace Grant in the lane to the right hand. Left it short. Hawkins the rebound, and the Hornets on the run. Hersey in all kinds of traffic. Larry Johnson right by Horace Grant on the reverse.
I don't like to see those, no.
6 for Larry Johnson, 6 of the 10 Hornet points. Scottie Pippen.
3.
Horace had it partially blocked from behind by Eddie Johnson. Pippen on the fade. Scottie with his 3rd from the field. Tied at 10. Hawkins for 3.
No, he was on a line. He didn't see it. He was on the line. They give him 3, though.
Hornets by 3. Got a foul coming up here against Alonzo Mourning.
33, Alonzo Mourning.
That's his first personal.
The team
second on the team. Almost 4 minutes gone by in this first period of play. Hornets lead the Bulls by 3. Scottie Pippen triggering right in front of us. Armstrong. BJ's first from the field. Came in shooting 48% from the floor. Hang a lob for Mourning, I believe. Well off the mark. Pippen intercepts on the drive to Grant. Horace trying to keep it alive. Scottie given the open pop. 8 for Scottie Pippen. 4 of 4 from the field. Bulls by 1. Mourning, the dish for Hawkins, offensive foul, and Mourning, that is his second personal foul.
Now they have to go down to bench. Kenny Gaddison getting off his jacket here. He comes down the lane. He crushes Scottie down as he lays it into Hersey Hawkins and picks up his second foul. We got a timeout here.
Timeout on the floor. Kenny Gaddison will be reporting on in a few moments when we resume. We have 7:24 left to go. First period of play. Bulls by 1.
Soon. See your local Ford dealer today.
Here's good defense right here. Eddie Johnson with the ball. Bill Cartwright is playing in front of Alonzo Mourning. Mourning wants to pass to go over the top. If he does, the responsibility's on Pippen to get in there and help out defensively. Let's see what happens. Watch Scottie way over. Pass comes over the top. Here comes Scottie. Yes, he makes the steal, helps his teammate out. They push the ball up the court. And Horace will miss the shot here, but he really fight hard to get the rebound. And as he does, he'll be able to bring it on down, give it to his teammate. And Scottie will go up with his 7th and 8th points of the game.
Back live, Bulls on offense. This is Pippen. Scottie leans in on Eddie Johnson. Gaddison the rebound. Bill Wennington to the ball game now for Chicago. Eddie Johnson, or Larry Johnson in traffic. Here's Eddie Johnson, baseline. Scored and a foul. It's on Scottie Pippen. Scottie's first personal, first on the team.
His first, the Bulls first.
Eddie Johnson flying down that sideline. He knows how to stay wide. He does. He catches the pass here from Muggsy Bogues. Takes a step in. Scottie thought he missed him, but Eddie Johnson gets the 3.
Eddie Johnson came in averaging 6.7 points a game. His first start of the season for the Hornets.
Well, we hope,
trap in the backcourt there.
You hope that Bill Cartwright doesn't get cold sitting down. When Mourning went out with the 2 fouls, Gaddison came in. Phil went right away
to Wennington.
To counteract.
Horace Grant on the fade over Gaddison. Charlotte back the other way, leading by 2. Hersey Hawkins. Oh, maybe a big travel there. BJ tipped it out of bounds. Going to belong to Charlotte. 13 to go on the shot clock. Bill Cartwright on the bench right there. You don't want to let those knees stiffen up. Charlotte on the attack, leading by 2. Hawkins, and it's a blocking foul.
Scottie's second foul. Scottie thought he had him again on the offensive foul. He slid out and he caught half a body. So let's see what Phil's going to have to do here. Scottie comes down. Technical on Scottie. Technical.
I believe you're right. Not at all happy with that call of Scottie Pippen. He let his feelings be known, and apparently let them be known strong enough to merit a technical foul here.
Muggsy Bogues knocks in the technical foul. Tony Kukoc getting his jacket off. He'll come for Scottie.
So some lineup changes on both sides, Red, precipitated by foul trouble here in the early going. 6:27 to go. First period of play, and the Hornets by 3. They have the ball. Hawkins. Bogues wants Johnson on the block against Grant. He faces him. Wennington the rebound. Horace on the block. Phil Jackson wanted to go in there, right back outside to Pete Myers. Little screen roll here. Kukoc. And it tipped away from behind Eddie Johnson. Kukoc gets it back. Back tap to Eddie Johnson. Got a 3-on-2 at the moment. Johnson gets his own shot blocked from behind by Kukoc. Hawkins comes up with a deflection. Hornets reset the offense. Larry Johnson down low, held by Pete Myers at a foul call. Larry Johnson reacting. Foul on Pete Myers is his first, third on the team.
His first, the team's third.
Non-shooting affair. Take a look at the grappling down low.
Yeah, well, he threw an elbow at him. That's what Pete objected to.
Under 6 minutes to go, first quarter. Hawkins and...
Oh, he said he grabbed, and David said, no, wait a minute, I got him first.
They got Pete Myers on the foul. He grabbed him.
They wave it off. David Jones said, no, you got the wrong guy, because Johnson took Pete Myers to camp. But he was overruled by Lee Jones.
Second on Pete Myers, fourth on the team. Strange turn to this game, John. Still first period. Hawkins for three. Wennington another rebound. Armstrong to Grant. Kukoc on the block. Eddie Johnson with the bump, and the foul is called on EJ. His second personal, third on the team.
Now Alan Bristow will have to take a look to see who he wants to come in. They got 3 points out of Eddie Johnson in starting him. And now Scott Burrell comes in the game. This is the guy that was their starter, but it's hard to go with two forwards when they're both 6'7" and have power. Oh, he missed Horace on it.
Sure did on the inbounds. Now Kukoc on the move.
Yeah.
Scored and a foul. Foul is on Burrell.
Continuation play. It looked like Tony was bottled up on the play. Watch Tony look like he's bottled up here on the play. He gets bumped. He takes the step in, hesitates, hears the whistle, and knocks it in. Nice job. Take a look at it again. Burrell trying to backtrack and knock Tony off the blocks, and Tony gets the 3 points on it.
17 apiece. We're tied. Muggsy Bogues. Hawkins. There's Burrell up high. Good athlete. He was drafted by 2 different major league teams in the baseball amateur drafts. Matter of fact, he pitched for the Toronto organization the last 3 years. 3-second violation coming up. Chicago basketball, 3-second violation on the Hornets, and Alan Bristow pacing anxiously on the sidelines. He's under some pressure down in Charlotte. They expect it to be much better than this. 12-10. Sometimes expectations, Red, can be the undoing of a coach, can't they? Kukoc. Oh, nice move. Tony on the rim.
It dies short. He made all kinds of moves getting down that lane.
Burrell with a big drive. Grant clears the board. We're tied at 17. Coming up on 4.5 to go, first quarter. Kukoc, blocking foul against Burrell, and now that's his second personal foul. The team over the limit.
Burrell, his second penalty.
And up off the bench, Del Curry. This guy can fill it up, I'll tell you. He'll be coming in a moment for the Charlotte Hornets. Kukoc has made 2 in a row from the line. Tony has been struggling a bit. 16 of 54, 29% in his last 6 games, but had 12 points and 5 of 12 shooting from the floor in a strong effort against San Antonio the other night. 4 rebounds, 3 assists in that game. And Tony off to a good start here tonight. 3 in a row from the free throw line at 5 points of the game. Bulls with the lead by 2. Bogues on the drive.
Yes, he skipped that one on in. Bogues has 5. If you missed the game the other night, San Antonio, Tony took it down the middle and slam dunked over the Admiral. David Robinson, I want to tell you, he really did a job on it.
That brought this crowd to its feet. Wennington the turnaround. Hawkins clears the board. Charlotte on the run. Bogues to Gaddison, poked away by Grant, up for grabs, picked up by Hawkins. 15 to go on the shot clock for Charlotte. Hawk on the drive. Nice move around Horace Grant.
This is a tough team to play catch-up basketball against. They can light up that board pretty quick.
Hornets by 2. Myers to tie it. Well, Pete Myers having another strong first quarter. You mentioned he has big quarters here at Chicago Stadium. Usually it's been the first, Red.
Yeah, it's been the first, and he's got 18 points here a couple games ago for his career high.
Curry had it knocked away by Kukoc. 9 to go on the shot clock now. LJ in the lane against Horace. Bogues from the outside. He is not a good shooter from there. Curry. Ramama going back door to Muggsy, and it's kicked out of bounds by the Bulls. It'll belong to Chicago. Let's pause. It'll belong to Charlotte. Let's pause for station identification.
You're watching WGN-TV Channel 9 Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
It'll be Charlotte basketball when we resume. Timeout on the floor, and we're tied at 21. Wayne Larrabee, Johnny Red Kerr at Chicago Stadium on Friday, January 14th. The Bulls battle the Jazz. It's Ensure One hat night. First 10,000 fans receive a Bulls hat. Compliments of Ensure One. Well, we talked about Charlotte, and Red, you mentioned they're able to score in a hurry. They are among the league leaders in points per game, despite the fact they have been struggling somewhat over the course of the last 14 games.
I think a big factor is Johnny Newman not with him. Johnny had 27 against the Bulls. He would run down, fill it up, keep a man busy watching what's happening, and I think they miss him.
Johnny Newman traded earlier this month to New Jersey for Ramil Robinson.
Bulls with no turnovers here. They've got 3.
LJ. High archer, and Larry Johnson now has 8 points in the ball game on 4 of 5 from the field. Hornets by 2. Kukoc. Backing Curry. Whoa. Got a double team from Bogues. Over and back violation, Bulls. Going to belong to the Charlotte Hornets. There's a turnover.
That was a foot race there for BJ to get there before Bogues. He sneaked in there and got him.
Hornets leading by 2 here in this first period of play. We've been plagued by fouls here, Red. Bogues sets it up. Pass instead of a Curry. Tipped away last touch by Kukoc. It'll belong to Charlotte. 16 to go on the shot clock. Steve Kerr in the lineup for the Bulls now, replacing B.J. Armstrong. Armstrong leads with a field goal, 2 points.
He's got 1 field goal. Grant doesn't have any. The Bulls are still right here, down 2. Horace with the steal.
Pass intended for LJ. Grant intercepts. Kerr to Myers. Myers over Hawkins. Right there. Ring it up. Pete Myers has 8 points. 3 of 4 shooting for Myers in the field. Bogues penetrates again. This time leaves it short. Weddington to Myers. Bulls can take the lead. We're under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Horace Grant.
Yeah, nice work all the way down. Tony, and $25 from McDonald's to Charitables for that in every slam dunk, eh?
Good ball movement on the break by the Bulls. Bill Jackson asking Horace work. Larry Johnson gets it on the block again. Facing Horace. Johnson double team by Myers. Hawkins open for 3. Weddington the rebound, and tipped away from behind, and a foul called.
Kenny
Gaddison. Yep. His first. Team is over the limit. On Saturday, January 15th, Bulls battle the Rockets. It's thermal coffee mug night. First 10,000 fans will receive a Bulls thermal coffee mug. Wayne Larrabee, Johnny Red Kerr, Chicago Stadium, winding down a first period of play. Seeing the Bulls on top now by 2, and a chance to go on top by more.
I'd like to wish a happy birthday to my daughter, Essie Harrington, at 21st, always before Christmas. And it's nice to get a chance to say happy birthday, and also to a friend of ours, Ruth Ray.
Weddington's first point of the night. LaRon Ellis reports on now, replacing Hawkins in the lineup. LaRon Ellis signed by the Hornets as a free agent last month. A career high 11 rebounds at Utah December 4th.
If you're listening down there in Briggsville, Craig and Susan, Hilliard, Tom Doty made it here. He's on his way to Florida, so the Pheasant Inn can be happy. Big Bill knocks into.
Wennington's given the Bulls some excellent production off the bench. A little tramp in the backcourt, a little pressure by the Bulls. Tony Bennett in the lineup now for the Charlotte Hornets. He's the sharpshooter out of Wisconsin Green Bay. Larry Johnson, Del Curry. Nice touch. Curry led everybody in the NBA as far as players who don't start ball games with 15.3 points a game last year.
Tony.
Backdoor from Myers. Nicely done.
They caught Grandmama looking at the ball, and Tony reversed it, caught the pass, and slam dunked it down.
Johnson goes to work. LaRon Ellis. LJ in close again. Johnson with 10. Bulls by 2. They hustle it into the front court. Pete Myers. 9 to go on the shot clock. Steve Kerr. Bennett right on him defensively. 6 to go. Pete Myers off a screen by Wennington. Big Bill is open. Rebound fought for. Grant nearly had it, and it was last touched apparently by the Hornets. Either Johnson or Gaddison.
Good play. Horace stayed right in there. 20 seconds to go. BJ's going to come in here. They'll spread it out. And Pete Myers will come out and get a nice hand and a rest. He's got 8 points. BJ comes in to handle the point and spread it out.
Kerr and Armstrong among the league leaders in three-point shooting. Horace Grant heads away from the basket. Now Phil Jackson sends him back down low. Kukoc at the top. Tony on the move. Look for Grant. Wasn't there. Here's Curry. LaRon Ellis. Good ball movement. Bennett misses. Ellis no. As the horn sounds signifying the end of the first period of play. At times both teams struggled here tonight, labored through this first quarter, but when it was all said and done, Tony Kukoc and the Bulls with a 2-point lead over the Hornets.
She dreamed of touching the stars.
29-27, the Bulls lead Charlotte at the end of 3. 15 points by the small forwards, Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc. Here's 2 of Tony's. Pete Myers spots him. He reverses on Grandmama and goes up and slams the ball in. Nice play.
Take a look at the numbers in that first quarter of play. Bulls come out at 50%. And Charlotte has the edge on the rebounding and inside points. Beginning of the second quarter, Bulls going for their 6th win in a row here at Chicago Stadium against the Hornets. B.J. Armstrong hits his first shot of the second quarter. He was 1 for 2 from the field in the first quarter of play. He'll get more shots as the night wears on.
He had to shake Tony Bennett on that. He got a good screen from Bill Wennington.
Del Curry, the quick release right there with his second from the field. Both teams out of the gate in fine fashion here to start the second quarter. Wennington up high. Armstrong over Bennett. LaRon Ellis to Bennett. Ahead to Curry. Lost the handle on it. Always can recover to get off a shot. Can Del Curry.
He wants to take Blunt down by Mom, but not that time.
Curry again. Boy, he's pulling the trigger now. 6 points for Del Curry. He's shooting 46% on the season, but when he heats up, right, he's 3 of 4 now from the field.
You don't judge streak shooters by percentage. You just, those guys just do it.
If they're on, they're up over 80%. Kukoc throws it away. Johnson to Bennett. LaRon Ellis tried to force the pass to Gaddison. Kukoc knocked it away. Bennett the shovel for LaRon Ellis. Denied the slam in a collision with Blount and a foul. Corey picks up his first.
Bulls can't pick up that loose ball, and Corey Blount stood there and waited for the man to come down the middle, and as he gets the pass from Bennett, here he comes in. LaRon Ellis, and it gets swatted away, but he'll shoot the 2 free throws on that foul by Blount. It's another look at it.
Pretty big collision there. Ellis puts in on his first. Scottie Pippen into the lineup, replacing Tony Kukoc. So now the Bulls with B.J. Armstrong, Steve Kerr at the guards. Scottie Pippen, Bill Wennington up front along with Corey Blount. Gaddison knocked it out of bounds and knocked it to the Bulls as a result. Thought for a minute he might have knocked it off of B.J. Armstrong. Opening 2 minutes of play, second quarter. Blount on the drive. Pippen right back to Corey. The rookie on the turn. Nicely done.
Kid is starting to play real good basketball. Getting slow minutes because the rotation has been so good, but he does a nice job.
Mourning. Curry. No, this time. Blount chases down to the corner. Here come the Bulls, leading by 1.
Steve Kerr. Look at it, Steve. Oh, Steve.
For 2, ring it.
We don't count those for you, Steve. Look at it.
9:35 to go for the half for the Bulls by 3.
You saw that last play by Corey Blount. He tipped the ball to himself out of a pile, and he learned that from Horace. I learned that watching Horace.
Steve Kerr had to overplay on Del Curry to deny the interior feed and picks up his first personal foul. That is the second of the team.
Personal foul, Steve Kerr. His first.
Take a look at Corey Blount in action.
Yeah, here's what I was talking about. He's into traffic, so what he does is goes up and taps it out to himself. Nice job.
Curry.
Traveled.
He sure did.
Good job. The kid was on him when he went to go off that screen to shoot it. And guys have problems when they're good shooters. You interrupt their rhythm and they stutter.
That's how they get down to 46%, Rich. See, these streak shooters are off at 80% when they're in the zone. You know, it's
right.
46% when their rhythm's off. Wennington to the high post.
There it is, Steve. Look at it, kid. Oh, again.
Rebound, Gaddison. Tony Bennett pushing in a hurry. They've tried to make a point guard out of Tony Bennett, but he's really a 2 guard. The foul here is on Bill Wennington on a push as Mourning set up. Wennington's first third on the team. Grandmama Larry Johnson is back along with Muggsy Bogues. There he is right there, number 1. All 5'3" of them. And there's LJ. Bogues and Curry the backcourt. Mourning, Larry Johnson, and LaRon Ellis the front line. The hook shot right there by Alonzo Mourning, only his first 2 points of the game. This for Charlotte is one of the taller lineups they can put on the floor. In terms of the front line, Pippen. Oh, the Hornets have done a pretty good job off the boards here tonight, John.
Yes, they have. Now the missed shots going right into those uniforms.
Phil Cartwright getting set to report back on. Mourning in close against Blount, scored and a foul. He was held by Corey.
Corey's second foul. Mourning gets his third and fourth point. He just fires on down as he gets down the lane. Johnson hits him with the ball, a good move, and then he goes on up with the left hand and knocks it in. So Wennington and Blount leave. Horace Grant and Cartwright back in the game.
Alonzo Mourning looking to complete the 3-point play. Alonzo Mourning gets to the free throw line, third most of the NBA in terms of free throw attempts, and he shoots up around 80%, Red, which is outstanding for a big man.
Even though he takes 10-15 seconds.
Yeah.
On the...
You're right, he does.
Oh, we've timed him several times, and he's
Pippen to Cartwright.
Oh, Bill, nice touch.
Get those knees loosened up in a hurry in a couple of those, huh? 37 apiece, we're tied.
Oh, my knees never hurt me offensively. It was on the defense. There's a foul on LaRon Ellis down low.
Off the ball.
Shove off.
First on LaRon Ellis. 7:49 to go, first half of play. 37 apiece, we're tied. Been kind of a quiet start, a strange start compared to the intensity we saw in the New York and San Antonio games over the weekend. BJ posting Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah, he likes that, but you got to give it to him quick. Muggsy, he'll take that ball right away from you.
Muggsy will take it right back at you as well.
Yes.
Mourning out front, Bears watching from there. Nothing but cord, and now Mourning with 7 second quarter points after being held scoreless in the first period. Cartwright left loose again.
What is that, a replay?
Skip Ellison and company backed up tape on that one. 4 for Cartwright. Mourning on the drive. Grant, no foul. And the Charlotte people can't believe it. Grant gets the block. They triangle. Reverse it to BJ on the drive through the lane. 10 to go on the shot clock. Cartwright on the block against Mourning. 5 to go. With the left hand. Hornets can tie right here. Johnson against Scottie, stripped away by Kerr. To Grant.
Yes, and Mourning had to watch himself for his 3rd foul, and Horace has 4 points. Steve Kerr with a nice feed, and they're going to take a what? A 20 or a full? Let's take a look.
Looks like a 20-second timeout. Initially, that's what they signaled for Charlotte. Standing ovation for the Chicago Bulls and Horace Grant, who finished off that transition.
You know, we talked about BJ likes to go down and post up, but you got to do it quick. So here Scottie sees him down low. BJ gets it, and watch this, almost in one motion. He goes up over the top and knocks it. Now we've gone into a full timeout, Wayne.
Breaking the action, 6:12 left to go. First half, and the Bulls play on top.
Hey, the Miss Perfect pageant.
Yeah.
We're watching hockey.
Let's watch both.
Miller Lite presents the Miss Perfect Face-Off.
Okay, Bob, Miss Georgia goes to the corner. She pays the price. Here's the puck coming loose. The shot. She scores!
Brought to you by Miller Lite. If you can combine great taste and less filling, you can combine anything.
Oh, that'll be sashing. 2 minutes for Miss Congeniality.
Bad call. Good beer. Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this?
Now that I'm a network analyst, I've got to look at things with a totally impartial point of view. I can't play favorites. Got to be objective. Like picking the strongest player in electronics. Which one has the top brands? Like Sony, GE, RCA, IBM. Which one has next-day delivery? And which one beats any competitor's advertised price? Hey, you know, this impartial stuff isn't as tough as I thought it would be.
It's the end of the year, and your local Ford dealer's out to make Ford Taurus the best-selling car in America by the largest margin ever. So right now's the time to buy. Taurus is loaded with standard features, and now it's got standard dual airbags, a 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty, 24-hour roadside assistance, and for a limited time, $1,100 in cash back and option discounts, or a great 24-month lease deal. If you've been waiting for a great deal on a new Ford Taurus, this is it. See your local Ford dealer today.
Bulls with a 4-point lead, 43-39 here at 6:12 to play. Lonzo Mourning takes a drive against Bill Cartwright, and watch this. Horace Grant comes up, catches him across the wrist. Oh, man, if Horace was in a bank robbery, I'll tell you what, right now, I'd like Horace to drive the getaway car. Look at how quick he gets down the other end and collects on the 2. Yes.
And you take a look at the, we mentioned a moment ago how BJ was posting up on Muggsy Bogues. Muggsy at 5'3", part of the reason why Charlotte is one of the shortest teams of the NBA. And there's a look at Muggsy, but I'll tell you something, you can't measure the guy's heart by the length of his frame. He is a tremendous little player in the NBA.
All right, you got some subs here. Eddie Johnson is back in the game. LaRon Ellis will leave. Hersey Hawkins. Pete Myers came back in.
Johnson will trigger on the inbounds. Bogues and Hawkins, the backcourt combination.
Bulls are on an 8-2 run the last 1 minute and 50 seconds.
EJ looking on the inbounds, gets it to Muggsy near the midcourt stripe. Now what they've been doing with Muggsy Bogues in a lot of cases is backing off him on the perimeter and taking away some of his passing lanes or driving lanes. Got a push here on Pete Myers, and this is going to be his 3rd personal.
He was trying to get out of the way, it looked like, didn't it? And that's one of those, I'm sorry, but once you go down, you got to call it.
That is 5 on the team already, Red. We have 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. So Steve Kerr has to come in for Pete Myers, who was off to a good start with 8 first-quarter points, but his minutes will be severely curtailed for the rest of the first half of play.
Well, they like to have Pete chasing Hersey Hawkins around. He's a bigger player, a little more athletic. Now in the back, you've got Steve Kerr and BJ. A little smaller. You might see Hawkins even try to go down and post them up.
Percy Hawkins played for Dick Versace out at Bradley. College basketball player of the year. Member of the Olympic team in '88. Noisy rim tonight. 9 points for Hawkins.
That was a bronze team, wasn't it, in '88?
Yes, it was. Bulls assemble offensively, leading by 2. Kerr, disc, Cartwright.
Nice play. Steve Kerr broke him right down. Cartwright with 6 points all in this quarter.
And again, $25 more from McDonald's at Charitables every time a Chicago Bulls slam dunks during tonight's game. Larry Johnson. You know, they talk about the disc problem that he has, Red, and that sometimes he doesn't have the explosion in his legs that make him a special player. He certainly showed some quickness on that play, if not the explosion.
Well, if he ever slips off his wallet, then you'll have some problems. He's got a ton of bread, hasn't he?
Yes, sir. A lot of bread to pad that back, right? Bogues. Mourning running the floor. But any athlete will tell you, Red, if you don't have your health, money can't buy that.
Yeah, you can't play with a bad back in this thing either.
Steve Kerr picked up on a switch by Mourning. He leads them, and Kerr rings it up from the outside again. Second from the field for Kerr. Bulls by 2. Muggsy tried to force it into LJ and knocked out of bounds by the Bulls.
You know, Steve Kerr, just a possession ago, he broke it down. He didn't stay outside. He went down the middle, and when they came to him, he gives it to Bill Cartwright, and Cartwright was able to clean it up with the left hand. Nicely done. So you got to watch out for Steve Kerr way out on the court, and when he breaks down.
Kerr tips the pass by Bogues. 10 to go on the shot clock. Mourning collects. On the drive.
Offense, yes.
On the drive.
Yes.
He used the right elbow. Technical foul coming up now on Alan Bristow, the head coach. The foul on Mourning is an offensive foul, his 3rd.
Came down the lane. The ball was hit way high up in the air. Cartwright didn't see it. Mourning got it. And then he tries to drive left, and Horace Grant comes in and catches that right elbow across the neck.
Yep.
B.J. Armstrong will stroll down here as Bristow was out on the court.
Bristow's still upset for that foul that wasn't called on Horace Grant a couple of plays ago.
B.J. with his 7th point.
Alan Bristow, the head coach, in his 3rd year at Charlotte.
He's still over there jawing away. He's supposed to be out of the game. And Phil wants to know what Gibbs out here is right. He's supposed to be gone on the bench.
Larry Johnson replaces Alonzo Mourning.
Alonzo Mourning leaves, and Johnson back on for Charlotte. Bulls assembled offensively.
See what they do with Cartwright if they leave him in there or take him out. Now, it's hard duty for him to go in and out, you know.
9 to go on the shot clock. Pippen finds Cartwright. Scottie, no. Pippen again. Horace Grant trying to clean it up. Muggsy Bogues wipes it away. Headed for Larry Johnson. Gaddison got in the way of that pass and traveled with it.
He didn't know that was going to Larry Johnson. He ran through and it hit his hand, went down on the floor. He picked it up again, so the Bulls will slow it down a little bit here now.
Under 4 minutes to go. Take a look at the turnover situation. Bulls came in averaging 17 turnovers a game, so they're doing real well in this first half. Horace Grant. Gaddison is there. Muggsy Bogues on the push. EJ from deep. Ring it up for 2. Eddie Johnson with 5.
Scottie Pippen shot 21 free throws in that overtime game in Charlotte to open it up. It was 11 out of 21, and he hasn't been to free throw line tonight.
Bulls have missed their last 5 shots from the field.
Hope he lost his dribble.
Kerr to Cartwright. Cartwright trying to get it back. Muggsy Bogues picked up by Grant.
There you go, Horace. Hang around there and hustle, and look what you got, eh?
3-point lead, Chicago. Hawkins on the drive. Kerr to Pippen. Bulls have some numbers now to Grant.
Yeah, between the legs, drop pass by Scottie to his bud. Horace Grant with 8. The Bulls, the 5-point lead. BJ looking around.
Pippen made the steal. B.J. to Grant. Right back to B.J. Armstrong.
There's a mismatch. He's got Larry Johnson. Look it up. Look at the three. There you go, kid. Knock it in. Yes.
Armstrong rings up his first tray. Timeout, Charlotte.
Genuine draft. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man we all know and love, Charles Barkley.
Topic, best 2-on-2 teammate. Hoppy Hop.
Look, man, I'm just a rapper, okay? I don't know.
You're a 2-on-2 teammate. Scottie Pippen.
Michael Jordan.
Wrong.
Hey, Jordan.
You're a 2-on-2 teammate. David Robinson.
Charles Barkley.
Wrong.
Quit kissing up to the host. The correct answer is Alonzo Mourning. He's tough.
He's fearless.
He's devastating. He's gonzo.
He broke my coffee cup. You know, if I was as big as Alonzo, I'd be illegal in 7 states.
Including Puerto Rico.
I'd have bigger shoes.
Really big shoes.
A bigger hot tub.
Bigger hat.
A bigger fan club.
And a bigger schnoz.
And a bigger logo.
Straight butter, baby.
On Monday, January 17th, Bulls battle the Sixers. All-State Insurance Lunchbox Day. First 5,000 kids 14 and under receive a Bulls lunchbox. Compliments of All-State Insurance.
Well, a little bit of fancy play here. Watch Scottie Pippen drop it between his legs to Horace Grant, who comes in. It's a no-look pass. He makes the layup. Then Scottie comes back, fakes a little bit to Percy Hawkins, and then goes right back to the little guy, steals the ball. And the ensuing play, B.J. Armstrong hit a three.
Bulls are 9-1 since Scottie's return. These numbers tell you why. Charlotte Hornets resume offensively. Bulls with an 8-point lead, their biggest of the night. LJ in close on Wennington and Grant. He got sandwiched in a foul. That's coming up on Wennington. Or is it Grant? No, it's going to be Horace Grant.
Horace is first.
Bulls have long been over the team foul limit. Larry Johnson heading back to the line.
Let me just pass my condolences on to the family of Mitch and Phyllis Julius and their son Danny. He died in an automobile crash Sunday morning. He was only 21 years old, a dear friend of mine, and our condolences.
Our prayers with the family.
Also, Steve Williams, the son of Don Williams, who's the Bulls video department, had some heart problems. We hope Steve's going to be all right.
1 out of 2 for LJ at the line. Chicago by 7.
2 minutes to play in the first half.
Pippen out front. B.J. on the weave. Bumped by Eddie Johnson to the foul call.
It's third on Eddie.
Sure is.
Fourth team foul.
Well, you got Mourning with 3. You got Eddie Johnson with 3.
Yeah. That's first under 2 minutes, so they won't shoot. And Del Curry streaks on down. Eddie Johnson will have to hit the pines here for a while.
Believe it or not, that's only the first team foul technically in this quarter on Charlotte, but you're right, at first in the last 2 minutes. Armstrong gets the step on Hawkins. Yeah. B.J. with 12, 10 of which have come in the second quarter. Bulls by 9. Larry Johnson setting up on the block. Double team from Wennington. Bogues trying to force it into Gaddison. Denied by Pippen. To Horace.
Oh, look at this.
3, B.J. No.
Short, yep.
Muggsy Bogues. Hawkins for 3. It'll belong to Chicago.
If Kerr picked that up, look who was strolling down under the Bulls basket. Tony Kukoc is going to come in. He can't. Too late. I'd like to get another shot for Kerr here with 60 seconds to play.
Scottie on the block. Over Del Curry. Scottie Pippen has 10 points here tonight. He is 5 out of 9 from the floor. See if the Hornets hustle, get 2 for 1 maybe. Del Curry for 3. Horace Grant the rebound. Armstrong on the drive.
There it is, Kerr.
Kerr from the corner.
Oh, long deuce for the kid. 6 for Steve in this quarter.
Sweet jumpers, each and every one of those 3 field goals for Kerr. About a 4-second differential, shot clock to game clock. Time winding down in the quarter. Del Curry. Gaddison.
Offensive foul. Yes, he did.
Sure is.
These guys put that arm out.
20-second timeout. And here's what's on tap. Our next game Thursday night, 6:30 Central Time. Join us from the Palace. Isaiah's supposed to be back. Matter of fact, the word out of Detroit was that he was going to play, I believe, tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
But Laimbeer is not back.
No.
It'll be the first time we'll face him without Bill Laimbeer in a long time.
Gee, something will be missing there. What a wreck.
Yeah. The Bulls were 11-1 on points off turnovers. So Tony Kukoc does get in the game here now. They'll keep it spread.
There are a couple of interesting bystanders. Will Perdue on the left of your screen as you look at it. John Paxson on the right.
Interesting note. The Bulls 16-3 since the technical on Bristow. So they're going to put some pressure on here. Here the Bulls go. They break. Oh, and Scottie lost it. Scottie got it.
Gets it back from Burrell. Time winding down. Does he get it off in time? Yes, he did, but no. So the first half comes to a close. The Chicago Bulls exit the playing floor with a 61-48 lead over the Charlotte Hornets. Our halftime activities are just ahead on WGN.
Katie was just 6. She was the youngest of our children. She was a little tomboy. She was funny, spirited, just full of life. And when she died, we donated her organs so that another child might live.
To say thank you is so inadequate. Tommy is our only son. What a gift you have given us. Yesterday, Tommy did something we...
Copyrighted broadcast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Bulls outscored the Hornets 32-21 in that second period of play to take the 13-point lead they enjoy here at halftime. Chicago shooting very well from the floor at 52%. And the Bulls only 4 turnovers in the first half of play while forcing 13 turnovers by the Charlotte Hornets. We'll be back, of course, with all of our highlights and our other activities at halftime from Chicago Stadium. But right now we step away for WGN News Halftime Report.
Former heavyweight champion. Time now to check in with WGN Sports Director Dan Roan, who is courtside at the Bulls game. Dan.
Allison, great game going on out here at halftime. 61-48, the Bulls on top. They did it with defense and a 13-1 run to end the second quarter. We'll show you one of the plays that involves Steve Kerr inside, slapping the ball away from Larry Johnson, and watch Horace Grant get the finish. Horace, another strong game tonight so far, and at 61-48 at halftime, the Bulls leading the Charlotte Hornets. Afterward, we'll take you into the locker room. Also, CBS is shut out of all the NFL telecasts. We'll have that story, as well as college basketball highlights from around the country. All that coming up later on. Right now, back to the studio.
All right, thank you, Dan. We're going to take a little break now, but Tom Skilling's holiday forecast is next when the WGN Halftime Report continues.
Wherever you're watching across the country on WGN, Wayne Larrabee and Johnny Redker. And John, I tell you, first half at times seemed to drag a little bit due to some foul trouble for both sides, mostly Charlotte. But we saw some points and saw some highlights.
Oh, we saw some neat highlights, and we're going to take a look at the first one here. Let's take a look. Horace Grant's going to come down here and set a screen. Tony Kukoc over on the side here is going to fake out and then reverse. Larry Johnson, is going to bite on this fake out here. He's going to go out. Tony will reverse and go right above the rim and get a beautiful alley-oop. That's a lot of scratching, but watch it when it works. All right, here he comes down, fakes out, reverses. The pass is there, turns around, beautifully done.
You know, Johnson got lost in all that scratching.
All right, here's Larry Johnson. He loses everybody in this scratching and goes up with the left hand underneath and does a nice job of driving down the lane. Speaking of driving down the lane, here comes Steve Kerr right into your living room. Is he going up for the hoop? No, Bill Cartwright is, though. Yes, Bill with the left hand and slam it down. A sequence of beautiful plays late in the game with Scottie Pippen coming down with the ball. He's going to come down in the middle, drop the ball between his legs to Horace Grant. Horace is going to score. Now watch what happens afterwards. Now watch what happens right here. Scottie turns around here. He turns away. Now Hersey Hawkins will not look after he catches the pass. He'll drop it down here. Scottie will pick it up, fire it out to BJ, who will end up with a three. Watch Scottie turn away, and he knows it's going to be there. He goes right in, takes the ball away. He's going to find B.J. Armstrong, says, let me have the rock. He gets it. Kenny Gaddison is on him a little bit, and Kenny says, well, he might drive on me, so he steps back, and then Horace gets the ball in, kicks it on back, and now he's set. Takes one good look at what's happening, and look where Johnson's playing him way off. You can't play B.J. from there. Bam, in your face.
Take a look at the Illinois Lottery halftime stats. The numbers in tonight's game thus far. Both teams at 50% or better. Bulls at 52. Rebounding edge belongs to the Hornets slightly. Turnovers, look at that. Only 4 for the Bulls, who came in averaging 17 turnovers a game. 11 points off turnovers for Chicago. And on the bench, once again, Red, they are ringing it up big time from the crew on the Pines.
Yes, super job.
Montgomery Ward, individual leading scorers. Larry Johnson leads the way for Charlotte. And B.J. Armstrong, Scottie Pippen have both reached double digits for the Bulls. Miller Lite scoreboard, out-of-town scores. New York rebounding from the loss here in Chicago. Leading Dallas to the 4th period of play. It's a final. Philadelphia has defeated Detroit.
Wow.
Wow. And Lamb basted them, Red. Washington over Minnesota in the 4th. A couple of other games. Phoenix trailing Indiana in the 2nd. The Clippers are playing host to the Bucks a little bit later on. Phil Jackson on the bench, looking for his 254th victory as head coach of the Chicago Bulls. And we've got a sellout crowd on hand.
These crowds have been really exciting. They've made more noise than they have in the last year, and maybe it's because they expected the Bulls to win and were sort of sitting watching a little bit of what was going on, but they are really into it now.
Especially this weekend, Red. They really started enjoying this team for what it is.
Get it up, Horace.
Myers, yes!
Yeah, long. He was almost on a 3. He's got 10.
Chicago's lead is 15, biggest lead of the night. Opening minute of play. 3rd period. Eddie Johnson, nothing but cord. He has 7. The Charlotte team, as Red mentioned earlier, can put points on the board in a hurry. Myers off the screen by Cartwright. The kick to Bill Cartwright. Eddie Johnson cleared that board. Muggsy Bogues. Bulls back well defensively.
Scottie.
Oh, he anticipated the passing lane so well.
Scottie just reached over and laid it in there.
The way, you know, everybody stopped, right? I thought for a minute the officials had blown the whistle on the play. Pippen here picks up a foul.
Oh, that's Scottie's 3rd.
Yep. Take a look at Pippen, the way he fills the passing lane here.
He knows it. He anticipates it. They lay it out there. He kicks it out with his hand and takes a little look and just knocks it over the rim.
That's what they talk about when they talk about instinct on the defensive end. 10 to go on the shot clock for Charlotte. Bogues from the outside. Muggsy with 7. He's most dangerous, though, when he's on the dribble, breaking down the defense.
Yeah, because he puts everybody wants to help, and he, Pete, you got it. No, way outside.
Foul is coming up on Hersey Hawkins. And on Hawk, that's his first personal. First on the team. Non-shooting affair, as Red mentioned. Opening 2 minutes of play.
Phil says, BJ's posting, and he goes in, and it's, what is it?
Got a foul on Muggsy Bogues.
Oh, he held his finger up in the air. I was trying to figure out what he was calling, but that's the number on Buggsy's uniform.
Yes,
about Muggsy's uniform. Bugsy.
On Wednesday, January 19th, Bulls battle the Bullets. Ballpark Franks squeeze bottle night. First 10,000 receive a Bulls squeeze bottle. Compliments of Ballpark Franks. Myers trying to hit BJ a little too tall on that pass. Here comes Muggsy Bogues. 5-on-4 Charlotte. Hawkins. Travel.
Oh, Hawk can't believe it. Yeah, he thought he went in and then backed into his man to pick up the foul.
Bulls lead by 13. That's the margin they had at the break. We're early third period of play. Scottie Pippen. Picked up by Larry Johnson. Finds B.J. Armstrong. Good movement away from the ball by B.J. Armstrong. Fundamental basketball.
Yeah, they want to keep Muggsy as busy as they can. Watch out. Oh, he's going.
Morning was stopped by Cartwright and Myers, and I think they've got Pete Myers on the foul. Bennett Salvatore? No, he's got Bill Cartwright.
Bill first.
Second on the team. And Alonzo Mourning heading to the free throw strike. I mentioned earlier, Alonzo Mourning has attempted the third most free throws in the NBA this season. 231 coming into tonight's game. Mourning is 1 for 1 tonight. Make it 2 for 2 from the line. And again, he shoots about 80%.
One of the great dunks you'll ever see was happened in Portland in the Goodwill games. Tony Kukoc took it over Alonzo Mourning. I mean, took it over him and slammed it down. Long time ago for both players.
Yeah, exactly. Good to say. 11 for Mourning. Charlotte with some backcourt presence. Pippen guarded by Eddie Johnson. BJ's trying for the block. 10 to go on the clock. Grant has it knocked away by Larry Johnson. Clears to Pippen. 5 to go. B.J. Armstrong will have to force. Charlotte back the other way. Mourning. Pippen is there. Scottie on the hustle. To Myers.
Oh, he just flat out blew it. Hit the bottom of the rim. Had a slam dunk.
Seemed to lose the grip.
Yeah, he did. He did. He lost it. Beautiful pass in stride.
Larry Johnson, 15 for LJ. Chicago lead down to 11. Pippen. Muggsy Bogues tipped it out. 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. Larry Johnson with a bit of an Academy Award performance there to try to draw the foul, but the officials weren't buying it.
Bulls half-court offense has not been all that nifty right here.
Grant.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, how do you like that? That's a nifty little play to Horace Grant.
Well, that's 4 out of the 5 starters in double figures.
4 minutes gone by in the third. Hawkins penetrates, blocked by Grant, but a foul. Horace with his second personal, third on the team.
Hawkins takes it in hard down the lane. Here comes Horace, and a good body. Nice play by Hersey Hawkins to get his body in front, delay until Horace came over the top for the block, and then pick it up.
Hawkins at the free throw line. Ranks as the 76ers all-time leader in three-point field goals made, attempted, and percentage. Of course, he's played much of his career at Philadelphia. This is his first year away from Philly. One out of 2 at the line is all she wrote. He has 10 points here tonight. Pippen a bit out of control for a moment. Myers at the point.
A little quicker, Bill, and you were in there. Back him in, PJ. Back him in there. Gets all kinds of help.
A tray for Myers. Bogues penetrating. Eddie Johnson baseline. Johnson gets it back. Good wraparound by Johnson. He has 9. 10-point ball game in favor of the Bulls. Grant. Scottie left unattended. Alonzo Mourning slaps that rebound.
He's not getting any rebounds now down that end.
And again, Charlotte not one of the better rebounding teams in the league. They've done a good job here tonight, though. Larry Johnson, 10 to go on the shot clock. Charlotte, a team that labors in the half court as well, but Larry Johnson bears the fruit of that labor on this trip. 17 for Larry Johnson. The Bulls have had a 15-point lead sliced down to 8.
Filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
To win, you got to dominate every phase of the game, just like Electric Avenue.
Mike, Electric Avenue has all the top brand names in electronics and appliances to beat the competition at every phase of the game. Like Sony, Panasonic, RCA, Apple, Maytag, GE, and Electric Avenue will beat any competitor's price guaranteed.
You gotta like the way Electric Avenue stomps the competition.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Charles, you are a role model.
I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, Mike, I got my own shoe. My own initials on it.
Yeah? Well, I have my own shoes with my own name on it.
Well, can you do this in your shoe, Mr. I don't play anymore?
Yeah, but I don't have to. I'm retired.
I'm not. My shoes got this strap.
Laces.
Black. White. White's wimpy. And you can't keep it clean.
Size 13.
16.
Ooh. Not care.
Mine's got more.
I went ball first.
Did not.
Did too.
On Tuesday, January 4th, Bulls battle the Pistons, Ameritech Cellular Watch Night. First 10,000 fans receive a Bulls Watch compliment of Ameritech Cellular. A look at the Charlotte Hornets. Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning. Like many young teams, Charlotte much better at home than they are on the road, and they are coming from behind here tonight. They trail by 8 at Chicago Stadium against the red-hot Chicago Bulls. Bulls have had that 15-point lead sliced right down to 8 points. 10 to go on the shot clock for Chicago. Pippen.
Need to get it up. We're in the red zone.
PJ saved to Scottie. No. Mourning. Last couple of trips, the Bulls have stalled in the half court. Eddie Johnson. Offensive rebound, Hersey Hawkins. Alonzo Mourning.
Offense, wipe it out. Horace got it his way again. Nice play, and that's 4 on Mourning.
It sure is. The reaction of Alonzo Mourning says it all. There's his coach, Alan Bristow. Now you look at Mourning now with 4 personal fouls. He'll have to play careful basketball. Eddie Johnson has 3 personals. Pippen. To Grant. Horace has missed a couple in close tonight. Muggsy Bogues, no, but a foul. Not on the block, but on the drive. B.J. Armstrong slipped him. First on B.J. 4th on the team. They'll give him the continuation. Let's pause for station identification.
You're watching WGN-TV Channel 9 Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
Muggsy threads his first. He'll have another. He's 83% from the free throw line. Don't forget, coming up after the game, WGN News. Bill Wennington back on for the Bulls. And Gaddison reports on replacing Alonzo Mourning for the Charlotte Hornets. Muggsy makes good on a pair, has 9. Charlotte is back to within 6. Wennington had a tip from behind. 10 to go on the shot clock. Pete Myers.
He traveled. They call a foul. Okay. Oh, okay. That was Del Curry that just came in the game. That's his first third-team foul. Gives the
shooting affair.
Bulls a chance to reset that clock anyway. Get themselves together. Little organization here in this end of the court.
Inbounds denied by Larry Johnson way outside of Bill Wennington.
They're coming out now and starting to overplay. The Bulls are just 1 out of their last 7 from the field. Steve Kerr is going to come in for Pete Myers. So this should help spread it out a little bit.
Steve with 6 points in the second period of play. Fresh shot clock for the Bulls. BJ bumped by Bogues. They reset the offense. Pippen to Grant. 12 for Horace Grant. Bulls again by 8. Two minutes and 10 seconds between field goals for the Bulls. Pippen triggers it loose. It's up for Grant.
Eddie kicked it. Oh, Eddie kicked it.
Going to belong to Charlotte, according to the officials.
They give it blue ball. 6 seconds on the clock.
See if we can pick it up here, Red. Like a pinball, isn't it?
Yeah, it looked like Eddie. Yeah, that was his foot that came out. But
they wipe up some moisture from the floor in front of us, and we're just about set to go. Eddie Johnson will inbound, as Red mentioned. 6 to go on the shot clock. 4:48 for the quarter. Phil Jackson orchestrating his defense. Inbounds to Del Curry. On the screen by Gaddison. Stopped by Wennington. Eddie Johnson with a force. Gaddison, did he get it off in time? Apparently he did. Scottie Pippen. BJ. Steve Kerr. Pippen is there, the offensive rebound. Armstrong for 3.
Yes. Those two guys will make you pay in the back. You've got to stay out on them, and yet you got to help your team rebound. You can't leak out. BJ's second tray tonight. He's got 17.
And restores an 11-point Chicago advantage. Curry to Eddie Johnson. Scored and a foul. Fouls on Bill Wennington. His second personal pushes the team over the limit. Eddie Johnson with 11 points. Heads back to the free throw line. Eddie has averaged 10+ points in all 11 seasons in the league.
Two real good free throw shooters. Hersey Hawkins split a pair. Now Eddie misses his. They're the 80% shooters. Eddie 85 for life in this league.
Right. Kerr.
Yeah. Bing off a good screen by Horace Grant.
Grandmama. LJ off the mark. Wennington got pushed. No foul. Larry Johnson. Good move right around Horace, and he was hooked by Steve Kerr. Well, if the ice were uncovered, that'd be 2 minutes for hooking, right? Steve Kerr picks up his second personal.
Eddie Johnson and Muggsy Bogues leave, and that'll bring in Tony Bennett and LeRon Ellis.
LeRon Ellis, Gaddison, and Larry Johnson up front for Charlotte now. Del Curry, And Tony Bennett, backcourt tandem, both can hit from the outside. Larry Johnson with a little body English on the first. He has 18 points. Saturday, January 8th, Bulls battle the Mavs. Miller Lite Lovables poster night. First 10,000 fans, 21 and up, get a Lovables poster compliments of Miller Lite. A pair at the line for Larry Johnson. He has 19. Wennington against LeRon Ellis. 10 to go on the clock. Pippen drew the foul on Larry Johnson.
Scottie's first trip to the free throw line, and on Johnson, that's his first foul. Their fourth team. Pip to the line for the first time all night. He's got 12. As I mentioned in that game in Charlotte, that opening game, he shot 21 of them.
Hit what, 11
of them, yeah.
Scottie at 54% from the free throw line.
And if you remember that game, it was a missed shot by Pete Meyer at the end, and Horace Grant took it over the rim and dropped it in.
Clanks a couple. Back tap to Armstrong. To Wennington from Pippen.
Big Bill gets his first hoop, fourth point of the game. Nice work down the sideline after the missed free throw, so they came up with 2 off the free throw line.
Offensive efficiency was all right on that. Could have been better with 2 free throws, but it was all right. You got your 2 points on that trip. Curry. B.J. Armstrong back the other way. Steve Kerr square.
Scottie, that was a nice rebound, and a timeout by Alan Bristow is going to be called.
Steve Kerr's miss as good as a pass to Scottie Pippen, and the Bulls are back on top by 13. Wayne Larrabee, Johnny Redkirk, 2:25 to go for the third. The Hornets have closed within 6. The Bulls have it back to a 13-point lead.
Well, there's a rarity missed by Steve Kerr, but Scottie goes in well, gets the ball, and he says, well, if one of those little guys misses, look at this. B.J. lining up for 2 out of 3 from that area. And here we go back to live.
NBA leaders in three-point percentage, 2 of them from Chicago, among the top 6. Tony Bennett can hit that. Pippen the rebound off the floor. Bulls on the run. Hornets back quickly defensively, forcing the Bulls into a half-court set. 2 minutes to go in the quarter. B.J. on the run.
Off the rim. He knocked it right off the rim.
Ron Ellis deflected it away. Larry Johnson to Del Curry. Nice break by the Hornets.
Yes, it was a nice break. Looked like it was swiped off, but our angle was really bad.
Chicago lead is 11. Kerr out front. B.J. against Tony Bennett. Got a push coming up here on the second-year performer from Wisconsin Green Bay.
Now they'll shoot a couple free throws.
Second on Bennett. First on Bennett. Team is over the limit, and B.J. heads to the free throw line. Armstrong 17 points here thus far tonight.
Yeah, B.J. was quiet in that first quarter with only 2, but he's come up strong with 15 in the second and third quarter.
Puts in on his first. Hey, kids, visit the official Chicago Bulls team shops at any Chicagoland Carson Perry Scott store and sign up for your chance to be a Bulls honorary ball person for a game. B.J. cashes a pair, has 19 points. Bulls by 13. Bennett pushing to Johnson. L.J. on the drive. Unchallenged by Scottie Pippen, who has to be somewhat careful here with 3 personal fouls. Chicago lead again 11. Coming up on a minute left to go. Third quarter. Pippen on the move. Kerr. Picked up by Curry. 4 to go on the shot clock. Throws it away. Larry Johnson held by Steve Kerr. So Kerr takes the foul, his third. Send Larry Johnson to the line.
Well, the Bulls have been very good at protecting the ball, but now they've turned it over. It's their 6th or 7th. I don't know if it's up there on the clock yet, but they only had
They only had 4 at halftime.
4 at halftime. Only gave up 1 point off of that turnover.
Johnson now has 22 points.
Kukoc did get in the game.
22 for Larry Johnson. Stolen on the play by Gaddison. Bennett off the mark. Here's Pippen. 10-point Chicago lead. The lob for Corey Blunt. Too much on it. He saves to the wrong side. Tony Bennett on the push. Larry Johnson.
Hit the clock. Yep. Yes. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry, from way out there. Larry Johnson is 4 for 13 out there. He doesn't shoot many of them, but that's what you want. They're big guys shooting it. They wanted to get a 2 for 1 is what they wanted, but the Bulls might go 2 for 1 here, will they?
Final 30 seconds. Pippen, the quick release. Yes, they are going for 2 for 1, Red. 16 for Scottie. Hornets will slow it down. Take as much off the clock as they can. There's about a 3-second, maybe 4-second differential shot clock to game clock. There's the shot clock on the left.
They throw it away.
Yep, Gaddison couldn't handle the pass from Del Curry.
Now that's what happened. Tony Bennett went out, had a man on him, and they sent Bill Wennington to double, and they got out of sync. Okay, couple of seconds.
Time winding down. Scottie Pippen. Wennington, no, denied by LaRon Ellis as the quarter comes to a close. End of 3 complete. The Chicago Bulls hold a 12-point lead over the Charlotte Hornets as we head to the 4th.
What is your name? Chris Kringle.
30 on Channel 9.
Wayne Larrabee, Johnny Red Kerr as we get set to start the 4th period of play. The Bulls leading by 12. There's a look at Tom Waddle, wide receiver for the Chicago Bears. Sounds like he'll be missing the last 2 games of the regular season with a hamstring injury.
Tough break for him.
Yes, it is. And the Bears. Bulls start the 4th with a 12-point lead. Hornets have the ball. LaRon Ellis up high. Morning, guarded by Wennington. Tony Bennett right back to Morning on the block. 5 to go on the shot clock. Bennett for 3. Ring it.
3-point field goal, Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett. Bulls start out with JoJo English in the backcourt and Steve Kerr, Pippen, Kukoc, and Wennington up front. Kukoc. Oh, with the left hand. Tony has 9.
Looked like he was going to get that swatted away. Nice move.
Eddie Johnson, Alonzo Mourning up front. Mourning with it right now. LaRon Ellis, the other player on the front court. In traffic, Mourning tries to clear it back outside. Curry, no. Kukoc with a long hand on the rebound. Steve Kerr.
He just floats it up there and in. He's got 10.
He is shooting so well of late. 5 of 8 from the field here tonight for Steve Kerr. Eddie Johnson gets by Pippen. Feeds Mourning. A little buggy whip down low by Alonzo. He has 13. 11 points the lead. 10.5 for the game. Chicago on top with the ball. Seven to go on the clock. Pippen shakes loose, driving baseline. Wouldn't go down, and Mourning cleared it away. Eddie Johnson. Wennington the rebound.
Uh-oh, there he takes his shot. Eddie Johnson takes his shot at English. Did he call it? Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Technical foul on Eddie Johnson. Bennett Salvador made the call. A bit delayed, but he made it nonetheless.
Yep. Steve Kerr will go to the line. They ran down the court, and he just took a shot. JoJo English cut him off on his shot. He missed it as they ran back down the court. Eddie tried to run over him.
Steve Kerr, 84% free throw shooter. 11 points for Kerr. Take a look at this. 9 players combined in double figures. Bench points, big advantage Chicago. Turnovers. Bulls have done very well in that category tonight. Chicago trying for a 3-point possession. Wennington. Still up for grabs in the lane. Pippen.
Look what I found. Yeah, Scottie with the left hand. Good work by Wennington to keep it alive.
That long reach by Scottie Pippen to get the ball and then get the glass. Right back. Tony Bennett with his second for the field. He has 5. 5 of the 7 Charlotte points in the fourth quarter. Chicago by 12. Wennington facing Mourning. Tried to hit JoJo English off his hands. 2-on-1 break. Del Curry. Curry with 10. Phil Jackson a bit concerned now. His team's lead down to 10 points. Pippen. Travel is right. Yep. Turnover Chicago. Scott Burrell back into the lineup along with Muggsy Bogues. Curry has a seat on the bench, and so does LaRon Ellis for the Charlotte Hornets now. So it's Bogues and Bennett, the backcourt combination. Burrell and Mourning along with Del Curry complete the lineup for Charlotte. Muggsy Bogues. Curry guarded by Pippen. Scott Burrell off the mark. Kerr captures the rebound. Boy, Wennington did a good job on that rebound of blocking out Alonzo Mourning. Did not allow him a path to the ball as it carried him toward the corner. Pippen, oh, good feed.
Pip with 20, nice pass. Wennington over the top.
I'll tell you, Bill Wennington is doing so many different things well. Burrell in close, no, but a foul. Foul's coming up on Bill Wennington. Third personal, first on the team.
Burrell 13 out of 21 from the stripe, and now Phil calls Tony over to talk to him a little bit on the side of what to look for here defensively.
It's a learning process for Tony Kukoc, and it will be all season long, in game situations especially. Scott Burrell, only his first point of the night, the #1 draft choice out of the University of Connecticut. Hersey Hawkins back into the lineup, replacing Tony Bennett. Bennett played well here in the fourth period of play with 5 points in the early going. B.J. Armstrong is back out, and he gives Scottie Pippen a rest right now.
That's going to be interesting. Do we see JoJo English as the 3 player? Tony as the power forward? What do we see here? I don't know.
Got an interesting lineup there is what you've got. It's got to be a lane violation. I mean, 2 guys in the lane.
Alonzo Mourning, so they'll wipe it out. So the Bulls save 1 free throw on this one.
Well, here's what you've got on the floor, John. You've got B.J. Armstrong, Steve Kerr, and JoJo English. And it looks like JoJo's going up front to play the 3.
Well, what the Bulls do, the Bulls just run a system, so you don't have to worry about it too much.
Oh, JoJo in among the trees. Bill Wennington, the Redwood, gets it done. Muggsy right back for Charlotte. Bulls by 13. Burrell on the drive, high off the glass, and we've got a foul on Kukoc.
The Bulls can't get in too much into foul trouble here. That's his first, second on the team, but both of these have been shooting fouls. In that last quarter, they shot 11. They were 8 for 11 from the free throw line. The Bulls only 2 for 4.
Here's Scott Burrell at the free throw line. Drafted by Seattle in the amateur draft in '89 and by Toronto in 1990. In the baseball draft. He's pitched the last 3 years in the Blue Jay system. Tell you what, you look at a 6'7" guy winging it at you from that mound. What is that, 90 feet away or thereabouts?
Woo. Well, Horace comes back in here now to straighten up a little bit of the alignment.
Horace Grant on the floor now with Wennington and Kukoc up front. Kerr and BJ the backcourt. 10 to go on the shot clock. Kukoc clears to Kerr. Stop and go on Hawkins. Grant hustling the rebound. It'll belong to Chicago. 21 to go on the shot clock. Alan Bristow maybe saying a prayer.
Johnson comes in for Burnell. Burrell
heads to the bench. Kerr guarded by Hawkins. Hawkins. BJ wants to post up on Muggsy. Yeah, you're right. Illegal defense.
First violation is a warning. Reset the 24-second clock.
Muggsy Bogues looks perplexed. Well, you know,
does that mean small?
No. Confused. Confused, maybe. He is small. There's no question about that on this level of play. Kukoc. Nicely done. 11 for Kukoc. Mourning against Wennington. What a battle royale inside. Alonso gets the extra step on the drive, and he's pushed by Wennington.
That's the fourth on Big Bill, and again, that's
third on the team and another shooting foul, Red.
Absolutely, and that's the thing that you don't like. A timeout by Coach Phil Jackson.
6:45 left to be played. The Bulls with a 13-point advantage as they talk it over.
Bill Wennington, we've had some highlights on Big Bill. He made a beautiful pass to Scottie Pippen just a second ago, and then down here he holds Alonzo Mourning out on a shot. He locks him up until Steve Kerr can go out and hustle on the ball.
Look at that.
Yeah. Nice play. Cartwright back in. There's a pass to Scottie Pippen over the top. Cartwright in for him now.
Larry Johnson gets the step on Horace and got pushed in the play.
And again, free throws, and they will shoot. That's a third and fourth. Third on Horace and fourth on the team.
All of the fouls in this quarter against the Bulls have been shooting affairs for Charlotte.
Larry Johnson shoots 2.
Larry Johnson now at the free throw line, 22 points, all of which came in the first 3 quarters. Johnson 62% from the free throw stripe.
He was an 80% shooter last year, and now all of a sudden it's sort of bit him a little bit. He does a dance even when the ball is on the rim.
1 out of 2. He has 23. Well, they say that back injury, that disc problem, causes weakness in his legs, Red, and you know, obviously shooting begins with the legs. That's the base of your shot.
Go.
Kukoc. BJ.
Get out of the way, Bill, he says.
Cartwright in close. Grant batting away at it. Slapped by Mourning. Larry Johnson. Muggsy Bogues from the outside. Kukoc the rebound. Bulls starting to clean up on the boards now in this fourth period. Tony. Cartwright.
Look at this, 2 3-point shooter. Nope, they weren't in position, so they slow it down.
They run some offense. Little 2-man game. BJ and Cartwright, the turnaround.
Oh, Captain Teach. He's been quiet, but a nice job, huh?
His first 2 points since the second quarter. Has 8 in the game. Del Curry shot off the mark, and Kukoc the rebound. Bulls in firm control of the boards right now in this fourth quarter. Horace on the block. BJ gets the step. Cartwright.
Oh, Bell in double figures, and a lot of them in double figures. They want a timeout.
Timeout, Charlotte. The lead is the biggest of the night for Chicago. 16 points with 5:10 left to go.
How do you order?
Hey, fans, enter the Bulls sweepstakes to win a 300ZX, a Chicago Harley-Davidson limited edition Sportster, a dream vacation courtesy of IVI Travel, American Airlines at Hyatt Hotels and Resorts, or many other great prizes. Simply fill out the entry form on the back of Bulls tickets or on Bulls pocket schedules for your chance to win. Wayne Larrabee, Johnny Redker coming up on 5 minutes left to go. In the ball game, the Bulls on top by 16, and we got a whistle off the
Illegal
ball.
Defense, yeah.
Legal defense, Chicago Bulls.
And it's Salvador with the call. He's spied Horace Grant out of position, apparently. This is amazing when you consider how many times these two teams have played over the last several years. Only once have they held the Bulls under 100 points in 22 matchups. And the Bulls are at 101 tonight. Larry Johnson on the block, double team from Steve Kerr. Muggsy Bogues. Hornets have gone stone.
Yeah, they're saying, where are these guys coming from? Now, all of a sudden, Larry Johnson's looking up, and he can't find a guy to throw it to. Mourning in now, he takes Bill, and he picks up another foul.
Alonzo Mourning trying to deny the interior feed, his fifth, as you mentioned.
And that'll put him to the nope. What have I got? The first? Okay. I thought I saw the fifth foul, but it's only the first.
It is 5 on Mourning, but first on the team. Bulls by 16. Kukoc.
Oh, that you got to figure somebody hit the arm there.
He sure did. No call. Del Curry, ring it for 3.
Yeah, nobody on him at all. He ran to the corner. He's got 13. And they went 4 minutes without a basket.
A testament to defense by the Bulls, but also some rough shooting by Charlotte. They really went cold here in the outset of the fourth period.
Muggsy just working Steve Kerr over.
Kerr off the screen by Grant, finds Horace on the roll.
And didn't get knocked, huh?
No harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul. He should have been GON.
Armstrong. Grant the rebound.
Time off the clock. BJ looked for 3.
Off the glass. Grant the rebound.
Get out of there, Horace. You don't get straight. The Bulls, what a job of eating the clock up. Scottie standing there applauding him, and everybody comes to their feet here in the stadium. Now, make him pay.
Interior feed deflected away. Apparently last touch by Chicago. B.J. Armstrong really upset. He wanted to see the Bulls cash on that possession.
Horace came in here, thought he had a slam, went up in the air, and got hit all kinds of ways. That should have been Mourning's 6th and gone, but not to be.
Not going to matter tonight, though, whether Mourning's gone or not. Curry to Larry Johnson. Johnson's first field goal of the fourth quarter has 25 points of the game. Chicago lead is 11. Just under 3 minutes left to go. Armstrong traveled.
BJ wanted to take it so badly. So Bulls don't need any turnovers now. They've done a pretty good job in this game of only their 12th.
Alan Bristow coordinating his team. Take a look at the rebounding. The edge to Charlotte in the first half. The Bulls big time here in the second half. And Muggsy Bogues penetrates off the dribble. He has 11. Now it's a 9-point ball game. A moment ago, the Bulls were on the verge of blowing out the Hornets. Scottie Pippen.
22 for the Pip.
Again, the lead is 11. Hawkins up and firing. Grant the rebound. Coming up on 2 minutes left to go in the game. Bulls can put a nail in the coffin here. Set up on the right side. Grant with a screen. Kerr at the three-point arc. Now for 2.
Yeah. Get Muggsy turn his head, and they played a little 2-man game. BJ and Kerr.
13 points the lead for the Bulls. Muggsy Bogues back to an 11-point advantage. Bogues has 13. Minute 46 left to go. Bulls seeking their 6th win in a row. Would be their 10th win in their last 11 games. Minnesota coming up when? Wednesday night. Kerr on the drive. Bulls running some clock. Kerr with a quick release.
Yeah. Keep track of that kid. 15
for Steve Kerr. 7 of 11 shooting from the floor for Kerr. Johnson on the drive, scored in a foul.
Beautifully done. A strong move by Larry Johnson. This way he's so smooth. He just splits defenders and takes the pass with the left hand. And
Steve Kerr picks up the foul.
Yeah, lays it in over the rim.
Well, Larry Johnson has been pretty much himself here tonight. 11 of 14 from the field. He has 6 rebounds and 27, make it 28 points. 10-point lead, Chicago. still trying to close out the Hornets once and for all. Kerr out front on Curry. Cartwright in the corner. Pippen right through his hands. Here comes Muggsy Bogues.
60 seconds.
LJ for three. Cartwright the rebound this time, and that should do it.
2 bad shots now from the outside by him, and you don't want to take those shots. And listen to the fans here. They love it, what the Bulls are doing. Scottie's going to get fouled, and does, by Hersey Hawkins.
Hersey to stop the clock with 45.1 seconds remaining.
First in the last 2 minutes, so Scottie's not going to shoot, is he? That's a
no.
They're not in the penalty.
They're not in the penalty situation, right?
No.
Steve Jones had it wrong. That's all. Now they reset. Yeah. Lee Jones corrects David Jones, I should say.
Well, the Bulls would just like to be able to hang on for 25 seconds, but I don't think so.
Kerr to Cartwright. They spread the floor a bit. Scottie up top. Grant.
Get that rebound, Horace.
He sure did. Another rebound for Horace Grant. 15 rebounds for Grant here tonight.
Bulls got quite a streak going here, young man.
11 for Pippen tonight off the glass. Wennington had 8 rebounds. Horace.
Yeah. And that's his 3rd triple-double. He had 2 against Charlotte. It's his 3rd.
Bogues. Grant clears the rebound, and time winds down. An impressive second half for the Chicago Bulls. And they head off with a 109-97 victory over the Charlotte Hornets. Chicago with the win, now 14-8, 7-2 at home. We'll be back to recap.
WGN News is next. Tonight, a professional Chicago athlete is doing what he can to help get a missing 6-week-old baby back.
An important message for Americans who care about
game. Steve Kerr from the outside here off the mark. Scottie Pippen finds B.J. Armstrong, and B.J. in the 3rd period of play rings it up for AT&T. Be back with a final comment after these messages.
For me, looking good isn't about vanity. It's a job requirement.
Beautiful.
Even just a couple of flakes is a bad move. That's why I use Head & Shoulders Dry Scalp Shampoo. Other shampoos can strip moisture away. Head & Shoulders helps protect your scalp's natural.
Thank you. End of statement.
Triple-double, Scottie Pippen, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, 14 points, 16 rebounds, Horace Grant. Bulls win here tonight. They've won 6 in a row, 10 of 11, and are 14-8 on the season. Our next telecast on WGN will be between the Chicago Bulls and Detroit Pistons at the Palace on Thursday night. Our telecast begins at 6:30 p.m. The producer-director of Bulls basketball is Skip Ellison. Our associate producer, Joe Corneo. The assistant director, Mandy Cohen. For Red Kerr, this is Wayne Larrabee saying so long from Chicago Stadium.
Chicago Bulls basketball was brought to you by the cold filtered light with smooth draft taste, MGD Light. Say no more. Your local McDonald's restaurant, where what you want is what you get. That's McDonald's today. The people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Montgomery Ward, where things are really changing. And by the Illinois Lottery, dream a little dream with me. American Airlines is the official airline of the Chicago Bulls, serving over 320 cities worldwide. American is your gateway to the world. American Airlines. We mean business in Chicago.
College hoop. New season. Blue Demons. DePaul battles Texas Christian. Tuesday night at 7 on WGN Channel 9.
Live from Chicago's very own, this is WGN News at 9.
But Tillman wins it. POD, material. Chicago on the run. Scottie Pippen between his legs to Horace Grant for the layup. Hey, I like it, yes. Fred does too. Watch again. Here we go. So do Bulls fans. They've won 10 of 11. Hey, nice little drop pass. Yeah, just like in practice. Sure. A candidate, I don't know, but it's only Monday. Could
10 out of 11.
That's right.
10 out of
10 out of 11 for
Play of the day brought to you by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory. And with Alamo, all those miles are free.
Now the network of the eye shut out of NFL football broadcasting, and that is making it a sad moment for some. It may require some adjusting, but we've had to adjust our NBA viewing habits without Michael Jordan. Still, the games go on.
We will adjust your NFL TV set in a moment, but we begin with the defending champs, Chris. The last time the Bulls were 13-8 after 21 games was back in 1990, the year they won their first NBA title. Chicago has won 9 of their last 10 to remain 3 games behind the front-running Hawks. The third-place Hornets in the stadium tonight looking to avenge a season-opening loss. How would they fare? Well, Alan Bristow saying we got a 7-game road losing streak. But he saw some flashes of brilliance. Hersey gets it to go. Hornets by 2 in the first. Pete Myers catches LJ sleeping. Kukoc makes him pay. Third quarter. BJ, 19 points, Bulls by 2. They start to pull away. Scottie with the triple-double, including the no-look between the legs to Ho Grant. Do not try that at home. Bulls by 5. Second half, LJ comes up big. Posting up Ho and nothing but the bottom of the net. He had 28. Hornets still down by 8. Tony Kukoc is steep. Bulls by 14. They go on to win it.
He is shooting so well.
By the final. 109-97. Pippen, 12th career triple-double, 22 points, 11 boards, 10 assists. 7 players in double figures. That is the reason why they have been so successful this year. They don't rely on Michael. They can't rely on Michael. Everybody pitching in. The Knicks and Mavs have reportedly discussed a deal sending Derek Harper to New York for Anthony Bonner and a draft pick. Derek Harper is saying, I'll show you guys what I can do. 16 points on the night. Pat Riley, how would his team fare against the worst team in the league? It's nice when you can have plays like this. Mason to Oakley. Oakley had 20 points, 11 boards. Big night for Greg Anthony. Maybe telling the Knicks we don't need Derek Harper. 18 points, season high, went 5 for 5 from the floor. How bad are the Mavs? Darren Morningstar to press row. Quinn Buckner saying, throw it to me if you're going to throw it to anybody. Ewing, ho-hum night, 21 points. Made it look simple. The Knicks pick up the victory, 101-92. Anthony with the season high 18 points. Dallas, 19th straight loss, one shy of the 73 76ers, single season record of 20 consecutive losses. The Mavs need to win at Milwaukee on Wednesday to avoid matching that dubious distinction. In direct contrast to his college days, Patrick Ewing.
October, fireworks in Atlanta. The Braves, who were hopelessly out of the race, had acquired Fred McGriff. He literally sparked the Braves to a thrilling run to the division flag in a torrid race that saw Atlanta run down San Francisco and win the West. The division came down to the final day. The Braves beat Colorado and then watched the Giants go down to defeat to the Dodgers, cementing a 3rd straight division title for Atlanta.
November, in what was billed as college football.
It's just amazing.
Running right, darts inside, blocked by Horace. Picked up by Horace over. The Bulls win the championship. Horace Grant, who could have been the GOAT, is the hero as he blocks Kevin Johnson, and this series is history.
It's very gratifying. I mean, you know, because of what we've gone through, the road was so tough.
With a break here or there, we could have definitely won this series, but it wasn't meant to be. I think you just have to take your hat off to them and say, hey, and come out ready to play next year.